Back in 2019, President Donald Trump proposed the idea of the United States buying Greenland. At the time, it sounded like one of those wild ideas only Trump could come up with. People laughed at him, late-night comedians roasted him, and even Denmark, which oversees Greenland, called the idea absurd. And once again, Donald Trump is making headlines because in December 2024, he stated that U.S. ownership of Greenland is an absolute necessity for national security and global freedom. Also, while filming this video, Donald Trump Jr., so Trump's son, is currently visiting Greenland, meeting with local residents, and conveying his father's interest in purchasing the island. But here's something that might surprise you. Trump wasn't the first U.S. president to consider this. In fact, the idea of acquiring Greenland has been floating around in American politics for quite some time. Back in 1946, right after World War II, President Harry S. Truman saw Greenland's strategic importance, especially with the onset of the Cold War. He offered Denmark $100 million in gold to purchase the island. Denmark, however, declined the offer, choosing to keep Greenland under its sovereignty. But the story doesn't even start there. Even earlier in 1867, Secretary of State William H. Seward, serving under President Andrew Johnson, had his eyes on Greenland and Iceland too. He proposed buying both territories from Denmark for $5.5 million in gold. However, this proposal never materialized into a formal offer. When we talk about Greenland, it's not just a massive icy island sitting up there in the North Atlantic. Its location and resources make it a significant player in global politics, especially for countries like the United States. Greenland's position is like having a front row seat to the Arctic. This matters because the Arctic is becoming a hotspot for international interest. As climate change causes Arctic ice to melt, new shipping routes are opening up, and previously inaccessible natural resources are becoming reachable. Being close to these developments gives any country a strategic advantage. For the United States, having influence over Greenland means better access to these emerging opportunities. It allows for a stronger presence in the Arctic, which is crucial as other major players like Russia and China are also eyeing up this region. With the ice melting, new sea routes like the Northwest Passage and the Northern Sea Route are becoming navigable. These routes can significantly cut down shipping times between major markets, which is a big deal for global trade. For instance, the NSR can decrease the journey from Europe to Asia by about 40%, saving up to 10 to 15 days compared to traditional routes through the Suez Canal. These shorter distances translate to faster delivery times, which is crucial for time-sensitive goods like fresh produce and perishable items. Additionally, reduced transit times lead to lower fuel consumption and operation costs, enhancing the efficiency and profitability of shipping operations. Controlling or having access to Greenland means the U.S. can monitor and potentially influence these shipping lanes. From a military standpoint, Greenland is also very useful. It's like a strategic outpost. It provides a vantage point for monitoring activities in the North Atlantic and the Arctic. This is especially important given the increasing military activities of nations like Russia in the region. The U.S. already has a significant military presence in Greenland through the Tula Air Base. Tula Air Base, located in northwestern Greenland, is the U.S. military's northernmost installation. Established during the early days of the Cold War, it has been a cornerstone of U.S. defense strategy in the Arctic. The military base's location allows for early detection of intercontinental ballistic missiles and monitoring of space activities, which are essential for maintaining strategic stability. Both Russia and China have been increasing their activities in the Arctic. Russia, for example, has been revitalizing its military presence in the Arctic, reopening and remodernizing Soviet-era bases that were abandoned after the Cold War. This includes the refurbishments of airfields, radio stations, and other military infrastructure. For instance, Russia has reopened tens of Arctic Soviet-era military bases, modernized its navy, and developed new hypersonic missiles designed to evade U.S. sensors and defenses. China, despite being geographically distant from the Arctic, has declared itself a near-Arctic state and has been actively seeking to expand its influence in the region. Since 2003, China has been active in research activities to gain regional influence and access. It invested over $90 billion in the Arctic Circle in the infrastructure of minerals and energy sectors. In 2018, China published the Arctic Strategy to increase investment in the Arctic and create the Near Arctic State title. China's interests in the region are multifaceted, including access to natural resources, new shipping routes, and scientific research opportunities. The country has established research stations such as the Yellow River Station in Svalbard, Norway, and has been involved in joint ventures for resource extraction, notably in collaboration with Russia. Another key reason why Greenland is so valuable is its natural resources. Greenland's subsoil is rich in a variety of minerals, including rare earth elements. These elements are essential components in modern technologies, including smartphones, electric vehicles, batteries, wind turbines, and military equipment. Currently, China dominates the global supply of rare earth elements. This monopoly poses a strategic vulnerability for other nations, including the United States, which relies on these materials for both civilian and defense applications. Greenland's rare earth element deposits presents an opportunity to diversify supply chains and reduce dependence on a single source. However, it's important to note that while Greenland's rare earth deposits are significant, the concentration of these elements in the ore can be relatively low, ranging from 1 to 6%, and lower concentrations can drive up extraction and processing costs, posing serious economic and environmental challenges. Besides rare minerals, beneath Greenland's icy waters lie potential untapped reserves of oil and natural gas. The U.S. Geological Survey estimates that the Arctic region, including areas around Greenland, may hold up to 22% of the world's undiscovered, technically recoverable oil and gas resources. Within the United States, Texas leads in oil reserves, boasting over 20 billion barrels. Alaska, known for its significant oil production, has proven reserves of about 3 billion barrels. Therefore, Greenland's potential reserves are substantially larger than any individual U.S. states, indicating a significant opportunity for energy resource development. So buying Greenland might sound like a great idea for its natural resources and geopolitical strategic location, but there's a lot of serious challenges and reasons why it probably wouldn't be the best move for the United States, at least for now, to purchase Greenland. Even with climate change, Greenland is still mostly covered in ice for most of the year. In the Arctic, including Greenland, thick ice makes the waters nearly impossible to navigate from November to July. While ice levels in September have dropped by over 25% since 1979, that's not enough to create dependable shipping routes. Because of this, Greenland's potential as a strategic shipping hub is pretty limited and likely will be for a long time. Given these limitations, the high cost of purchasing Greenland becomes even harder to justify. Buying Greenland would come with a massive price tag, possibly running into hundreds of billions of dollars or more. This idea comes at a time when the U.S. is already dealing with over $36 trillion in national debt. Just paying the interest on the debt alone takes up a big chunk of the federal budget. And spending this kind of money on Greenland can make the financial situation even worse and take resources away from important domestic priorities. This financial strain ties directly to the challenges many Americans are facing here at home. Millions are dealing with healthcare struggles, a lower standard of living, and investing in the purchase of a distant territory like Greenland may be seen by many as just neglecting immediate issues here in this country. Trump campaigned on making America great again, focusing on American prosperity, putting Americans first. But how does buying Greenland, a distant island, fit into that promise? Recently, it feels like Trump is more focused on expanding the American empire and getting involved in other nations' business instead of focusing on Americans. Also, just think about it. For years, the U.S. has been calling out other countries, especially China and Russia, for being expansionist or aggressive, whether it's Russia's actions in Crimea or China's moves in the South China Sea. The U.S. always positions itself as the global champion of sovereignty, democracy, and fairness. But if America suddenly starts pushing to take over Greenland or even hints at annexing Canada, it would definitely scream hypocrisy to the rest of the world. But what do you think? Do you think the United States should purchase Greenland? Do you think the potential benefits outweigh the challenges? Or should we just focus on strengthening our economy and focusing on domestic issues here in America? What do you think? Leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out. Bye-bye.